We moved into my grandparents' house in 2016 when they decided to downsize. I was 9. They had built the place in the early 90s, sitting on 5 acres on the outskirts of a small southern town. Woods and fields stretched out around it, and a slow muddy river wound past our southern fence line. On 2 sides, our property touched our only neighbor's land, a crooked patch of acreage with a house that looked like it was sinking into the ground. That house was old. The original farmhouse had been built in the 1920s, and over time, additions had been slapped on without thought, like someone stapled extra rooms together just to make it work. The siding always looked damp, soft, and discolored, no matter how dry the day was. The yard was a mess, overgrown bushes choked by vines, broken fountains swallowed by weeds, gnomes missing their heads, and trash that looked like it had been sitting there for years. Grocery bags clung to tree branches, and a rusted lawnmower sat in the middle of the grass, abandoned mid-job. It was the kind of place you held your breath walking past. The house was home to 2 elderly sisters, Violet and Agnes, and 3 children. Violet was quiet, always sitting on the porch in a faded green rocking chair, staring out at the trees. Agnes was sharper, more active, though every movement looked painful. Both were well into their 70s. The kids were their grandchildren. Liam, a boy my age, was in my grade at school. The other 2, Allison and Kelsey, were twin girls, the same age as my younger sister. Liam was strange. I didn't like him, but since we were in the same class, people lumped us together. He took that as permission to just show up at my house unannounced. I'd be playing a game in my room, turn around, and he'd already be there. Once I caught him doing cannonballs in our pool without asking. Another time, he opened our fridge and ate leftover pizza with his hands. He wasn't fun to be around. He was obsessed with anime, constantly repeating lines in Japanese and getting mad when I didn't laugh. Sometimes his eyes would go distant, like he was imagining something violent. He once chased me with a pair of sharp garden shears, swinging them around like it was funny. Another time, on the old wooden bridge that crossed the creek near the back of our properties, I swear he tried to push me in. He called it a joke, but the way he smiled afterward told me he meant it. The twins were different. They were quiet, almost invisible, their clothes always dirty. They had speech problems that made them hard to understand. Their voices sounded like toddlers even though they were 7. They flinched easily, and they always looked hungry. Their dad was in and out of jail, so he was barely around. Their mother, Teresa, was something else entirely. The first time I met her, she was trying to hook up a hose near our side yard. She was tall, heavy-set, with long curly black hair and big glasses that looked like they belonged in the 80s. Unlike the rest of her family, she was put together. Her clothes were clean, her hair styled. She smiled at me like she had been waiting for me. She asked me to help with the faucet, said it was stuck. I twisted it easily, and she gasped, clapped, told me how strong I was. I felt proud. Then she looked at me and said, "Did you know you have a third eye?" I blinked, confused. She smiled wider. "Not a physical eye, a spiritual one. It lets you see the truth." Before I could ask what she meant, she started walking back toward her house and told me to come with her. I followed. The smell hit me as soon as I stepped inside. Rot, mildew, spoiled food, and something worse I couldn't place. Trash was everywhere. Torn garbage bags, rotting food, stained furniture, even dirty diapers stuffed behind the couch. I tried to leave, but Teresa grabbed my wrist and led me upstairs. Her bedroom was nothing like the rest of the house. It was immaculate, pink wallpaper, shelves of porcelain dolls, ornate furniture, and the scent of rose water. She gestured for me to sit, then opened a vanity drawer. She pulled out a silver tray holding a black candle, a crystal, and a thick leather book. The second I saw the pentagram on the cover, my stomach dropped. My parents are Catholic. I knew what that symbol meant. Then I saw it everywhere. On her jewelry box, etched into the frame of the mirror, scratched into the floor beneath the rug. I bolted. "Sorry, my mom wants me home." I didn't wait for her to respond. In 2019, Agnes had a heart attack and died in the living room, in front of all the kids. I went to the funeral at a rundown Baptist church on the edge of town. The family looked blank, but one woman I had never seen before sobbed so loudly it echoed, and no one acknowledged her. That same year, Liam disappeared. The story was that he tried to kill one of the twins and was sent to a psychiatric facility. My parents sat my sister and me down that night and told us we were never to go near that family again. Their faces were grim, serious. Suddenly, all the strange things I hadn't understood before fell into place. The rest of the family eventually moved away, leaving only Violet behind in that collapsing house. She died in 2020, alone. The estate went up for auction, and a few months later, one of my old elementary school teachers, Mrs. S., and her husband bought it. They tore down most of the structure but kept the original 1920s section, where Teresa's room had been. When they invited us to see the renovations, it looked beautiful. Open floor plan, new paint, updated appliances. But upstairs, in the same room, my skin crawled. I could feel it, the memory of that pentagram under the carpet, like the floor still held it. I felt nauseous, like something was watching me from the walls. I excused myself, claiming a headache. Last year, Mrs. S. asked me to dog sit while they went out of town. I agreed, easy money, I thought. The first few nights were fine. I fed the dogs, turned on the porch light, locked up. But the last night, the pug, Henry, started barking at the staircase. His little legs braced, barking non-stop. Muffin, the Shih Tzu, backed away, whimpering. Then came a thump from upstairs. Another thump, louder. I didn't wait. I ran out, slammed the door, locked it behind me. On the way home, I felt like something was following me. Now it's 2025, and for years we hadn't heard a word about that family. Until recently. A girl from school said she saw Teresa at a farmer's market in a nearby town. She started some kind of religious group, calling herself a truth seer. They live in a mobile home community deep in the woods. Flyers have begun appearing on bulletin boards and telephone poles. I don't trust it. I don't trust her. Teresa neglected her kids. She left her mother to rot in that collapsing house. And I believe she brought something into it, something dark that never left. I still dream of her and Liam standing at the foot of my bed, staring at me in silence. Even now, whenever I pass by that place, I get chills. The fresh paint, the new furniture, the renovations, they're only surface. That house remembers. And it never let go of what happened inside.